Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. And each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry, and today we have a remarkable guest joining us. Paula Petcu, CEO and co-founder at Interhuman AI. Hello, Paula. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Nice to be here. Thanks for
It's
having me.
pleasure is all ours. Well, we know you're busy, so thank you so much for taking time out of your day. We do appreciate it. Now, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, God forbid, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work at?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a creative technologist, computer scientist by training, and then I just fell in love with the human brain. So now I'm working at the intersection of humans and technology. I think that's been a red thread throughout my career. Graduating, I worked as a consultant, which, by the way, I recommend to anyone graduating to just throw themselves into consulting. You learn so much. And I worked also in corporate world for 7 years. I was a CTO at a startup company, so got a lot of experience, but always at the intersection of healthcare, humans, technology. And 2 years ago, I started a company called Interhuman AI. That is actually even more focused on that, because what we're trying to do at Interhuman AI is really understand human behavior. Trying to figure out how we think, why we behave the way we do. As you can imagine, it's
So
not an easy path.
yeah, you've taken a small challenge, haven't you? You thought, oh, I'll have a trivial challenge and
Yeah,
really go for that. Yes.
yeah, let's just do that.
It's quite an interesting time. I think not only have you chosen a great time to do it, technology is starting to be there for it, right? I mean, we are still in the early stages. I'm sure there's lots of challenges, but now is probably the perfect time for you to get into this, right?
Absolutely.
What do you see as the biggest challenge?
I think it's a great time to get started to build a business in this time. And things are progressing really fast, right? If you're looking at all the models that are available out there, the research that is going on in this space. And I think the biggest challenge is we don't have a ground truth about ourselves as humans. So building a model that is to understand humans when we don't understand ourselves, it's a big one. Fortunately, we've gathered a team of behavioral scientists and very smart AI people, all with PhDs, to put their minds together to figure this out. And everyone is so excited about discovering this because it's something that hasn't been done before. So all the creative minds, we can get them together to work on this. A lot of data needed, a lot of annotations, creating new frameworks, new evaluation metrics, all of that to kind of figure this out and bring this to the world.
So when you were looking to co-found like Interhuman AI, was there one particular challenge that you were looking to solve, or one particular problem that interested you, or was it more of just a general kind of journey that you're on, trying to understand many different aspects?
It all started based on my previous experience when I was leading digital health technologies at a pharmaceutical company. So I was in charge of evaluating different technologies for usage in clinical trials. How can we better understand our patients when we don't see them? And our patients in that pharmaceutical company, we were focused very much on brain health. So they had depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, and so on. Very difficult, challenging diseases, right? And looking at that and trying to better understand how things work and how we can help them, I realized that we can put as many wearables we want on them, track different things, but in the end, it's about how they're doing, what they're feeling, what's their behavior. There's certain body language for people that are, for example, depressed, their body language, how they stand, and so on, that is only perceivable by people. You can't put it in a questionnaire in an app, right? So that's when it all started for me. There needs to be a better solution for understanding and capturing this kind of data, right? And the current solutions don't do that. So I started experimenting with different models, standard models that look like facial expression analysis, speech emotion analysis, sentiment from text, pretty standard, basic NLP things that we could do back in the days, and models looking at classification of facial expressions. But something happened when ChatGPT came out. I guess that's it can't be only my story, right? Because it's just took the
I think a
entire
lot of
world by
stories
surprise.
start like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on, it was crazy. And as a technologist, I've been playing with GPT before, like the early versions as well, and it was like, okay, there's something here. Like if this can
Mm,
actually improve and not be crazy like it was in the early days, then there's something here. And then when ChatGPT came out and it was made available to so many people, and so many people started understanding what AI could be and how we could be interacting with it, not just a buzzword and not just like something that is for researchers in labs only. I think that's when I said, okay, there's something here. And what if we could give AI also visual understanding
mm,
and audio understanding? Because ChatGPT, it's a text box, right? You type
yeah.
in, like it's been like that for many years now. um, and it's just words, and it's really good at it. Like all the models that you have now available out there, they're all based on the same architecture, right? And they're looking at words, very good at words. But it completely misses the rest of the human communication.
Yeah. How do you go about measuring that subjectivity? That's essentially what you're trying to put
Yeah,
into the mix, isn't it? And
exactly.
as I can imagine, that's probably a very hard attribute to add to the mixture, right?
It is, because sometimes we don't know about it ourselves. So you're saying something, but your body language says something different, right? So that's what makes it even more challenging. The thing is that now we're able to measure all these different modalities. So if you look at facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, eye gaze, movement of hands, and all of that, in addition to what you're saying, so more like the text part, then you're able to spot also inconsistencies.
Mm,
That is very interesting, especially when we go into the healthcare space. If you think of a coach or therapist, what would happen in a room face to face is that the coach and therapist will look at you and see how are you sitting on the couch, your posture, how are you moving around and all of that, and we'll subtly comment on that. And that's what we're trying to do here also with Interhuman AI, that we're with our model we're able to capture those signals, identify inconsistencies, so we give the AI this intelligence, the social intelligence of what is actually happening.
when you're looking at this, I suppose there is a danger that you concentrate too much on the data and not the people. How do you navigate that? Because obviously you are very people focused when you're analyzing behaviors, right?
Yes, exactly. So it's a lot of data and a lot of human interactions in the end. So we're also using our own technology on ourselves. We've done some dog fooding, so to say, on doing internal interactions between our team members, and then annotating them
Mm,
and seeing what's happening and so on. We're very much focused also on the use cases, like what can this technology actually enable, right? And together with that, any potential challenges, limitations, biases that we need to be aware of.
mm,
Because when we put such a product, such a smart product out there, we need to be careful how it's being used and the limitations, and make those very visible, right? Because it's smart. It's the first omni-modal model out there that processes video, audio, and text at the same time. But this is, it's the best one now, and then in half a year, 1 year, it will not be the best one, right? We need to continue improving because obviously it has limitations.
So I want to talk about Interhuman AI a little bit more, but just for anyone who's watching who may be confused, who is Interhuman AI built for? What can it be used for?
Good question. It's Interhuman AI is for developers to build more realistic and trustworthy conversations. It's if you're building a conversation platform, training platform, a lot of AI role plays platforms I'm seeing out there, an AI coach for healthcare, an avatar that you want to become more realistic. Those are kind of the use cases that we support. And we focused on making developers work faster. So they don't need to read all the AI papers, capture data, and all of that to make an AI socially intelligent. We've done the work. They can just get an API key from our side and get to building.
So, Paula, I went to your website just before the podcast, and I think one of the applications that were possible is like podcast. And I don't really know how I feel about that. Although intellectually I'm kind of interested in that, I thought that would be amazing. But then actually I think, do I want that? Should I be worried just yet, Paula?
No, no. No. So when you think about podcasts, one of the things that you can do there is assess the body language interaction of a recorded interview, right? And see then how does that compare with your data for your listeners? What do your listeners respond to better?
Mm.
So you know what kind of interaction questions you can do next time. So it's additional data that can be provided for podcasting for now.
Oh, that. Yeah, for now, watch this space. Yes. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like, what do you see as success for your company? Like, are you, this is kind of like a loaded question. Are you looking to replace people? Are you looking to facilitate the use with people? What is your goal?
Definitely not replacing people. Let's just start with that.
Okay.
No, I want to make, I mean, it's clear that the world is going towards a future where we are going to work together with the AI, right? And if we do that, we need AI to be a trustworthy partner,
Mm.
you know, for it to actually try to understand us. Because a lot of the companies that are available, making AI available, they're focusing so much on productivity, right? Faster and like now it's able to code, now it's able to write your LinkedIn posts, and so on. But we are supposed to use that AI in collaboration with other humans. It needs to be part of the team. How can we do that, right? And we believe that it really needs to understand us, the full us, not just the words that we tell it. So for us, success, you know, there as a founder, I'm looking at, you know, in the next years and then in the next, on a longer term basis in next 10 years. And I think what we need to do now is more understand the importance of adding the social intelligence layer. And there's a lot of education that needs to be done on that, especially for larger enterprises that start integrating AI, but over time, if they don't think of all the aspects of what it means of deploying an AI in an enterprise with people,
Mm.
those pilots might not be successful. So there's a lot of education to be done, communication around what we do, the importance of social intelligence in AI. So we hope that within the next few years, we'll be able to be the leading provider of social intelligence for AI applications in Europe. We start with Europe, we are based here, and we would really like to push forward, you know, everything that is coming from Europe. we,
And
we,
speak,
we need to. We need to.
yeah, it's got to happen at some point, right?
Yeah.
If we look at going for the future, coincidentally, you've actually launched a new recent model yesterday. That's how soon it was.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. Tell us why you're excited about this new recent model.
Absolutely. So the model's name is Inter1. It follows our pilot program Inter0. And it's finally able to capture social signals from video, audio, and text at the same time. It's an omni-model, not a multimodal. So the difference there, the multimodal one would have a mix of expert models for video, audio, text separately, and then make an assessment. And this version is an omni model. We're processing all of that in real time. So it's the latest of the what you can get. And we're super excited because when we compared it also against other models, both on accuracy and speed, it's performing very well. So it has both traits that it's very accurate in identifying the right signals, but also very fast. What it means is that this is a promising path to potentially making this model real time. And I think that will unlock even more use cases. But we're super excited to start with Inter1. And in addition to social signals, what was important for us is also transparency. In addition to the social signals, we are also providing, and when I say social signals, it's things like attention, confusion, hesitation. So it's not internal emotions because that's impossible
Yes.
to know. um, it's observable behavioral cues, right? We also provide a rationale together with that, and that's a thing that we've learned from our pilots, from our customers, the tested Inter0, is that they would like they get the API key, they get access, they're excited, and then they're asking, what now?
Mm.
How do I present this to our users? How do I give feedback about their presentation skills now that I got the social signals and I have the transcript? What we learn is that actually they were missing the more descriptive part of it, the rationale. So what was it that drove the model to say, like, that's frustration? And in Inter1, we're actually providing that rationale. We are saying, okay, the person in the video has furrowed eyebrows and is the head is on the side, so something is happening there. And it's all the different modalities combined, right? It's tone of voice, body language, and text. So what the person says and how they behave at the same time. Super excited about this launch, and I can tell you also our pilot customers like, yes, you listen to us. So that's a really
Yeah.
good sign.
This is a topic that actually I'm so interested in, Paula. When I'm thinking about what you're telling me, are there any particular areas where you see this is a big demand for your product in this particular field? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking like you could use it. And forgive me if I'm wrong, like police interviews, maybe to see if people are lying. You could use it in the medical sector. You could use it in counseling. Is there any particular field which you're aiming for now, which is the most dominant? And are you looking wider other applications, maybe ones that you hadn't considered previously?
Yeah, so as an AI company, we are pretty agnostic from the different fields. We want to serve different use cases. But of course, we have some areas in mind because as a business, you need to have that focus. For us, we've seen a lot of potential in sales training and coaching. That's a task that is contains a lot of human interaction, right? So I was recently actually at the workshop and I asked a room full of salespeople, like, what is taken into account when you actually make a sales deal, right? Is it the numbers, the pricing, or is it the human connection? Clear answer from the room. It's the relationship that you build, right? And that I think will continue to be there. I don't think that people will just buy things without an interaction, not at an enterprise level. People like referrals. They can use their network, and there are so many incentives, for a person to buy from one vendor or the other. So I think that is very relational now, and it will stay relational, even though different tools, different system might change over time, but it will still be relational, it will be there. And there, I think we can very easily show that we make an impact. For example, when a new sales rep onboards in a company and they need to learn about the customers, how the product is communicated about, all of those details and expected objection questions, right? Like on privacy and all of those things. If our AI solution of understanding social signals is integrated in a role play practice platform or an after sales call coaching feature reviewing what you've done, then the sales rep is able to get more actionable feedback on both verbal and nonverbal communication. So, for example, figuring it out, okay, it was when there was this objection from the client, like they asked about the privacy policy and so on, and maybe the sales rep said the right lines they were supposed to, but very uncomfortable or
Yeah.
not sure, and then you can see the drop there. like um that is super helpful because now this review is done by it's very time consuming, right? The sales rep needs to do it, their manager reviews and so on, and it's a lot of manual work. Here the AI can flag such issues. That means that the sales onboarding time can be reduced drastically. That means that you can sell more faster and potentially upsell on some products. So obviously it's very close to the business case of many companies because every company needs to do sales, right?
Mm.
So that's one area that we think this is the first one where it will just rocket.
Yeah.
And the second one I would like to mention is more in healthcare, where I think more empathic coaching and getting these additional signals about the patients and those using digital health apps will make a difference. Because as soon as you experience this interaction with an AI that actually gets you, you're like, okay, you, you want to explore more, right? Because there's someone there 24/7 actually listening and not pushing content and ignoring whatever you say or however you feel, right? It's there for you. So I think that will be very powerful. And yeah, I think these two verticals are the ones that I'm most excited about. But now with the API out, anyone can build anything. So I hope to see some interesting projects coming out.
I can feel that excitement coming from you. It's almost infectious, right? If I can be devil's advocate just for one moment, Paula, forgive me. How do you build trust with users who may feel a little bit uneasy about AI, like analyzing their interactions? And where do you draw the line between helpful insights and kind of over surveillance?
Absolutely, yeah. And I can connect this also to your question you had before on the use cases, and you mentioned some applications where if you were analyzing my body language and facial expression, I was like, no, no, no. um, yeah, so I don't think this kind of technology should be applied, for example, in interrogation, detection of lies, or any kind of state surveillance. That's an area that we say no to,
Mhm.
basically. We don't go into that area. That is part of our values in the company. And another thing that I think is super important in the way that we're building the company is both myself, I come more from this tech and healthcare background, where we worked with sensitive populations, right? It's also highly regulated area. So we know a lot of things about asking for consent, informing people, transparency, and so on. I have two other co-founders that share these values with me, also with experience in healthcare and building products and so on, and focusing a lot on high trust. So, of course, we can't control everything on how our API is going to be used. But for example, we can provide guidance on how can this AI model be rolled out in their solution. A lot of people, for example, are careful about giving access to their camera, right? And it's okay. You can start chatting with an AI first, then try voice, then go to video. And there are a lot of design decisions for the developer on whether one should show the user's camera or not.
Mm.
I think that's an interesting one. So it's suppose, if you interact with an AI and you put a camera on, you expect that they have some kind of avatar shape, whether it's a blob or it's more human looking or cartoonish human. Then it's more like a FaceTime, right? Kind of interaction where obviously you have your camera. In this case, we're experimenting, and our default is that we shouldn't show the camera. But it might be that in the beginning, for for trust, that you see like what are they actually seeing.
Mm.
If it's a new app, you might want to show it. So it's a lot of design decisions from the developer side, and we guide the companies that we work with closely on best practices, how they can roll this out smoothly.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you, Paula. And Paula, we are down to our final question, so forgive me. I could literally talk to you all day about this, but unfortunately, time is of the essence. For those people who are watching, founders themselves, you've been a bit of a journey yourself. What would be the best advice that you could give someone when founding a company for the first time?
It's working on something you're passionate about. It's gonna be a tough road. You will have doubts along the way. That's the journey, because you're doing something new, something that is not there in the world. So people might be against what you're doing. They might not. You'll get investors that maybe say no because they don't see how you or your team will be able to do it. So the best way to handle that is to believe in yourself and have true passion for what you're doing, because then nothing can stop you.
Perfect advice. Lovely. Paula, I just want to thank you so much again for talking with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
That was Paula Petcu, CEO and co-founder at Interhuman AI.